Pappy Al, let's talk it out, talk it out. What's it like? What's life all about? Oh, Pappy Al, say your piece. Laugh at yourself, slap your knee. Pull up a chair, it's time for
Pappy Hour. Your hosts, Lucas Buddy and Eric Thompson. Ready for that riff?
Hey everyone, we're improving the studio, the video, the audio so we can keep showing up to give you a great show every week. Thank you so much for your support. The GoFundMe link is live in the show notes. And guess what? Here we go.
Man, Andy, it's so nice connecting with him. This is a great friend of mine. I've known him since middle school.
I can see why.
Yeah.
What a great heart this guy has.
Hey, and a great lesson is unapologetic boundaries. You know, it's okay, Des, to say no, even when your buddies are calling at you saying, come on, dude, let's go out. There's times where you're exhausted. Save that energy because you're going to need it.
Hopefully we get invited to one of his fire circles one day.
Oh, man, fire circles are amazing. That is, and guys out there, once you hear about these fire circles and talking sticks, get your tribe of men and do this. It really is beyond therapeutic. It is. It's wonderful.
It's huge. All right, you guys enjoy. Andy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Looking into like Neverland Forest or something there.
It is the real backdrop because I can't always put one of those canned images in front, so I figured I'd paste the real wallpaper. And
I love that.
That's beautiful.
I get sick of this one.
All right. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, gentlemen. Thanks for having me, man.
Gosh. So
Thanks for being on. Absolutely. Now, remind me, how do you guys know each other again?
Andy and I met the first time in middle school, Egan Junior High.
Oh my goodness, you guys go way back.
We do, but I think I would say the senior year of high school when we had a class together, Elverson.
Elverson.
Yes. And so we took a very existential literature class that was really tremendous. Great books. I still reread those books today.
Dang.
So, kind of fun.
And it was amazing. Were you in the film analysis class too?
No, I didn't do that one. That one would have been interesting.
We had a really authentic teacher who got us to think.
Yes.
And he was a grader, but it was a fun class.
Yeah.
Man. We read Crime and Punishment in this class.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I read it in Russian, actually. I read it in Russian. That was my kind of big claim to fame was that I spoke Russian at home with my dad, and I also had the ability to read the book in the original language. So he was pretty impressed with that.
Yeah,
that is incredible. Do you speak Russian with your kids as well?
I do. Yeah,
that's
a big
awesome.
Parenting conversation there. I mean, I don't know how you guys want to flow with all this. You want to just be kind of.
We're getting into it. Yeah, we're just a conversation.
We're just having it. We're on. We're happening. It's live.
We're recording live.
So.
We're gonna get your story. This is your Pappy Hour. We want to know all the things. How old are your kids?
Kids are 21, about to turn 22.
Oh, wow. So you and Eric, all right, okay.
Yeah, our boys, his boys and Ryan, my youngest, are all the same age. And are your guys on track for a momentous year of becoming an adult this year?
Yeah, it's a pretty trippy, momentous year for sure. I mean, one guy is graduating, but he's going immediately off to another semester. Getting a master's.
Perfect.
And he's in Vancouver. The other guy here, he has the Vancouver guy had to head back early for his schools on a different schedule.
Right.
But the other guy's the University of Madison, Wisconsin. And he's actually doing Air Force ROTC, officer candidate stuff. And he wants to be a pilot in the Air Force. So he's also majoring in Russian and data science. And he's going off to Kazakhstan for a year after he graduates, or at least finishes all his academic stuff. He goes for this capstone full immersion Russian speaking Kazakhstan thing, which is all supported by strategic languages and everything. It's all kind of a good cause to know a good language like that. And I've been speaking Russian to my kids since they were born. That was my agreement. Eva and I were talking about second language. And my dad passed before the boys were born, so the ability to carry on his his memory and his spirit, like speaking Russian to them, it's cool. Like when we're speaking one-on-one, it's always Russian. Of course, Eva studied Russian. She understands Russian, but when we're all of us talking, we're kind of, we started recording the English.
Right. It goes deeper. And she's like, hang on, include me. So, yeah.
Catch me up. What's going on here, guys?
Oh, that's funny.
So your kids are grown adults now. You got kind of this, are they out of the house? You have the empty nest situation going on, just you and the wife?
We were kind of one and done with the twins, and that's a big part of the story. I mean, when you get twins, you know, I think they say that most folks, when they have twins and they have more than two, they had some before the twins. Because when we got two, it was a handful. It was intense. So
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that.
What was that like, having twins?
Well, even more importantly, what was that moment for you learning? Eva either told you or you guys learned together, you're going to be a dad. You guys are going to be parents together. What was, if you have that moment?
Yeah, man. I think you guys put a bunch of really good thoughts out there to contemplate for this thing. Yeah. I mean, it starts with sort of who were you before, right? I mean, I think Eva and I mean, we got married, we're close to 30, and then we were in our 30s. It was a very social couple living a good life, working hard, playing hard. But I always knew I wanted to be a dad. And I think we were looking forward to it. And our kind of, I mean, the idea of what did you think being a dad would be like was this complete mystery. But I knew that it was like crossing the Rubicon, some kind of trippy mystery, very daunting in a way too. But something that I wanted to do. And frankly, I kind of fantasized about having twin boys.
No way.
Wait a minute. Like before you even had kids, you fantasized about having twin boys.
I did.
That's incredible.
We were just kind of, I mean, I would be happy with whatever, but it was something that kind of come from a twin family. I guess on my mom's side, her dad was a twin, and then there was another pair of twins. So there was all this twin siblings going on.
Okay.
So when we knew that, when we found out that twins were coming, it was a trip. I mean, there was also that kind of mindset where you just keep your knees bent, be ready for everything. You got to roll.
Yeah,
totally. We had a very complicated pregnancy too. There was a lot of like bed rest, and you just had to be really careful. And the boys were actually premature when they were born, which is common with twins. So there was a lot of intensity, kind of prepared us for the fact that you just got to roll with stuff as it comes along. So like, I think the whole before becoming a parent was sort of a lead up where I was actually getting more and more excited about becoming a parent, because I was kind of realizing that my lifestyle and everything about it was going to get old over time. And I was ready for this, like, take the plunge and see what the fuck happens.
Right.
And then, when it happens, I mean, the day they were born, meeting them, it was a trip. We were hoping that she would go to full term, and suddenly, man, she's like getting preeclampsia, and they're kind of, she's in, in the hospital. And
now, for those people that don't know what preeclampsia is, can you, to your best understanding, tell us what that means?
It's a common complication in pregnancy where basically your blood might not clot. I mean, it's dangerous, and you depending on how far along it goes, I mean, you have to deliver early. I mean, she ended up, they decided that because of the blood clotting complication that they needed to deliver. It was like 34 and a half weeks. And it was kind of funny because they checked her into the hospital. I brought her a falafel. And suddenly, the docs come in and they're like, we got to deliver now. What the fuck?
I haven't even digested this falafel yet.
And then, I was just excited to watch the whole birth. And they put a sheet up because they're kind of trying to shield me from the gory details, which I didn't need. I was excited, and I don't know, man. You're just ready to see these guys come out, and then it was like 1, 2, and they're like, one of your questions was like, what is it like to meet them? It was really surreal and amazing to see these little meatballs coming out of her stomach. Just a trip. And I guess one little vignette that's worth telling is that one of the boys, Pavel, had to go to ICU for a bit for monitoring. They actually kept the kids in the hospital for a couple of weeks, but my first, I been preparing. There's all this shit you do about. First, we thought it might be Lamaze, it's not. It's a C-section, right? So you waste all the time on that stuff. But then, diapers, man, we were even thinking, oh, maybe we'll be environmental. We'll go with cloth diapers. And it's like, oh, that's not going to work with twins, man.
I mean,
but then going up to the ICU, I got a chance to change Pavel's diaper, and I was tripping. It was a complete, gobsmack looking at my boy. I realized I'd been practicing diaper changing, and I changed his first diaper, which was pretty funny because apparently the very first bowel movement of a baby is called meconium. It's hard, thick, horrific. It's a one-time thing.
But in the moment, you're not really like, sure, is this a one-time thing? Is this how is everything okay?
Is this where oil comes from or tar?
I was thinking my life was going to be rough because changing that first diaper was like trying to clean fucking super glue.
Totally. And you're like, this is a fragile little being, and I'm having to wipe so hard. It's like
a lot of force to get that stuff off.
Oh my gosh!
Don't get it on your hand.
Yeah, don't get it on your hands.
I mean, those early days were really pretty amazing. Frankly, it was kind of cool that they were being watched by others and to kind of ease into it and kind of work the first bath in the hospital and stuff like that. So, very vivid memories, very kind of happy. But the gist of it for new dads would be that going into the whole thing, that idea of just keep your knees bent and know that it's such a ever quickly changing, dynamic fucking thing. Forward to that. I mean, and twins was kind of a unique thing because you're juggling too. You're trying to get them on the same schedule. There's like a lot of chaos, and you actually quickly start forming a bond with the twin communities because there's some unique. You sort of consider yourself especially under the gun when you got two, and that's a big part of the experience that I would recommend to new dads is that work with your wife to develop a community of other parents who you can share your experiences with, but then you meet other dads, and that's really important to have other dads that you can kind of share the good, bad, and the ugly with.
Say more about that. What in your words and your experience, what do you think is so important? How did you benefit from having that community of dads specifically? I mean, parents, yes, who are going through the same thing, but for dads to be able to communicate on a level that where we kind of are coming from similar places physiologically and mentally, how did that benefit you?
Hugely, man. I mean, I think it's really important everything's moving so fast. Your entire, arguably everything you've been used to has changed quickly, and your whole identity evolves. And I think most parents will agree that that metamorphosis, that transition is like ever changing. Like on the positive side, it increases your capacity. You're capable of things you never thought. You including what you feel, experience, your connection, your love, all that stuff. But in terms of the grind of just tending to the day-to-day, the survival mode, just having to be Johnny on the spot, you can be lonely if you don't have other dads to compare notes with, because you and your partner, I mean, you're going to be a bit of divide and conquer, and it's great. You have to, and the relationship itself starts taking a bit of a, it's front and center of the kids. You're just survival mode, right? You're not going on date night right away. And, frankly, I remember our first date night was we just had to go to a movie. We saw The Last Temptation of Christ.
You were like, you got it easy. You're having twins.
Oh my God.
We were just kind of out of it, but it was, as far as the community, I mean, just, Evo was way more prepped on just reading ahead, understanding how to synchronize the kids, same schedule, what do we do, blah, blah, blah. And then a lot of other, twin moms, but then meeting the dads, gave me a chance to just everything from support each other, a little commiserating, that being together with our kids, you kind of start doing this village where you're just taking care of each other's kids. But some of the dads were super, Johnny on the spot. Some were struggling. Some were kind of semi in the scheme of things checked out. So like you got to see the range and you got to deal with the empathy and the support, and you kind of realize whatever you're going through. Because I was kind of constantly on an adrenaline, run there. And in addition to that, kind of cultivating the community, bonding with other dads, you also realize that you need help, man. Like we both learned that relying on the kindness of strangers is a cool thing. Like when you're like carrying twins or you're trying to park, everything's fucking crazy. If somebody's being nice to you, man, you take it.
You do. Yeah. And you really thank them profusely, but somebody's recognizing, I know what you're going through. And let's give a hand.
I was in a parking lot the other day with Stella, and I was trying to get her in the car, and I was like, the cart was here, and I was just like clearly struggling. And this lady comes up to me and she goes, "Do you need help?" And I just go, "Yeah, I do." I mean, I didn't like really like what I meant was I got this, but like in general, like as a dad, like please somebody help me out here.
That's awesome, Lucas. Tell me more about
man, Stella's 19 months and she's just walking and everything. And that was a question when you said you had twins. Right. Like I'm chasing Stella. Like we have stairs all over the place, and she like just keeping an eye on her and trying to get stuff done around the house is. I'm just like, when I get through the day and we're both alive, I'm like, I am incredible. And then you have twins that can go in different directions when they start like this potted plant phase. Parents out there, when you're dealing with the potted plant phase where they can't move anything, just be present, slow down, enjoy that moment, because there will be a time where they start moving. And you were like, oh, I remember going, when Stella couldn't crawl, I was like, I wish she could crawl. And I meant it. Yeah. And then when she started crawling, I was like, I can't wait for her to walk. And then I really meant it. And then now she's walking and I'm like, I wish she would just fucking stand still for like 2 seconds. So what was your experience like with?
For me, I was just like, I was getting to the point of just like, I just wish they would go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Is it bedtime yet?
Can you just go play by yourself?
Totally.
Like,
but yeah, so you get two kids crawling in directions.
Well, man, I think that's so like, you're so excited about every next step.
Totally.
That moment where you're like, be careful what you wish for.
Exactly.
You're so jumping up and down in the crib. That's so cool. Next thing you know, man, I took a camping trip with my bros and came back and found out the kids got out of the crib. They were like taking their diapers off and smearing the wall. Totally going crazy. And I was off the crib. Like, oh, shit, man, I didn't know that day was
they're like little mental patients.
Block H, man.
I mean, that's the part of the excitement. It's just so kind of quickly evolving, and you're always hoping for the next thing, but you're surviving the current thing. And actually, in the moment, I noticed that there's a tendency to think that what's happening right now is going to be happening for a while, and it freaking changes fast.
It does.
So fast.
You follow the ball in such a way that you kind of forget that whole phase is like ancient history, but that was only 3 months ago.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
I mean, when you're in that moment right there, in that, it feels like this is it. This is forever. Right. And that's another thing that I try. That I hopefully that we can teach our kids, that I can teach Stella and that we can teach our kids. And maybe you guys have some advice on this, is that, when you're in the middle of something really tough, it can feel like this is everything. But just remember that those moments, that I know it's cliche, but it's cliche because it happens all the time, but this will pass. Yeah. This is not forever.
Right.
Nothing is.
Yeah. It's all that kind of that temporary piece.
Yeah.
The intensity, like, I guess my advice looking back was it's really important to try to find a way to get your sleep.
Right.
I went through some sleep deprivation that was pretty colossal. And for a while, like, you're just go. They're waking up all the time. You're not sleeping. You're trying to do your part. At some point, you're just so worn down. Like, we started to invest in a night nanny. And I guess it's important for me to mention that both of our parents, so Eva's mother died days after the boys were born.
Wow.
Her dad was not very available. And my dad died before they were born. My mom, I was mostly taking care of her. So we didn't have the typical sort of family, system.
Network, right.
Yeah.
We did have, we got a nanny who spoke Russian to them. That was awesome.
Oh, fantastic.
Eventually,
yeah.
In the early days, like the sleep deprivation, we would fork out a lot of bucks
Yeah.
to just get a good night's sleep and get a night nanny, just sit there.
Yeah.
That was like the best investment ever. And then I would feel like $1 million after that. And the mindset where it's so relentlessly demanding moment to moment in the early days that you think it's never going to end. Like I remember thinking, man, I'm never going to get a breather. And by the way, it was almost like two new universes. There were the people who had little kids and you could relate to them and you actually wanted to be around them because you were all part of this subculture.
Right.
But then there were all the friends that didn't have kids. They're coming over and they're just like, hey, dude, give me a beer. You know, they kind of expect you to be somewhat normal and you're just not the
You're
same
not at all.
You can't tend to them, man. You're, you know, almost like that constant multitask, that juggling became kind of a reality. And it felt like you would never evolve past that. You're always going to be juggling kids and always focused. And it evolves, you know. I mean, in a lot of ways, what I'm thinking now, though, too, is not to forget that even though kids grow up, they're still evolving quickly and do not miss that evolution.
Yeah.
The second thing I try to remember is pay it forward, man. Like I remember being on the plane where shit, man, one kid would be kung fu fighting the whole time. The guy's just crying and he's just crying the whole flight and everybody's being really nice about it. And then he just passed out right when the plane lands.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
Why do they do that? Why do they wait till you're right around the corner from the house and then they just snooze?
And they're done.
But I mean, these guys would just go nuts. And we traveled. You know, we would take them actually to Mexico just to get a breather. We'd put them in kids club and stuff and come back. That was a bit of our survival, was taking some trips that we would, you know, set them up. Like I could tell you some places you can go where you actually get like a breather and, you know, you get adult time. But coming back and in general, people were so generous and so good natured about dealing with us and the boisterous, chaotic nature that I'm remembering now, no matter what's going on, when people have dads have, you know, kids and chaos, I just try to figure out how to be cool about how to help.
Yeah.
You know?
It really is fun watching the difference in the parents when they come on board. And if I see a young family, I'll occasionally go sit close by because especially if the kid is already whimpering, I'm just like, all right, I'm awake, I'm good. Your screaming is not going to bother me.
Right.
Just to, like you say, pay it forward. You know, just because there were people that were patient with us too, and certainly there were a bunch of dicks. You know, just shut your kid up. It's just like piss off, but. I think one of the things that I remember too, and since you did do traveling, when Kristen and I would come back and visit my family, you know, in Palo Alto where you are, we'd be trying to see everybody that I knew and catch up with them. And you're just like, well, a sleep schedule won't allow that. And we'd have friends go, well, that's not fair. I mean, just they're babies, just they can sleep in there. I'm just like, you don't understand, man. So it is one of those things when you want to go back and see friends when you have a young baby. Hey, you know what, dude? I would love to see your house, but you need to come see us because we got a kid that it's just more hassle to travel around and take them all over the place because we have to bring basically a camper worth of gear with us, and you could just bring yourself. So.
Well, totally. The schedules are so regimented and so much going on that I would say a survival tip that we adhered to was to be unapologetic about the boundaries you got to draw because you got to survive. Like at the end of the day, I found that in those rigorous stages of early development, it's so demanding that if you start overextending yourself just a little bit, you start to kind of become on the brink of losing your mind pretty fast. I mean, I just remember us taking the kids to Tahoe. We thought, you know, we'd have some fun. We go to Tahoe. Actually, Belden was one of the first people we kind of connected with. We actually got a babysitter and we went off to the casino for a little fun, and we had fun, man. We actually had some drinks, came back, and oh my God, did we pay the price? The guy like crawling around and just nagging us, and we're just like burnt. And next thing you know, Steve Belden shows up, our good friend, and he's ready to go skiing, man. And we're just realizing that it's not the return on investment of having fun. It would have been so much better to just go to bed early. You know, even you know, partying was kind of a little bit out. But I just needed to not be apologetic about not accommodating others' expectations, because most of my friends didn't have kids at that time.
Yeah.
And they were kind of equating kids with pets and stuff. Yeah, man, it's like, well, it's kind of similar, but not really, man. I mean, taking care of a pet is not the same as changing these diapers every day.
Totally. Well, and I love the term unapologetic. You really do have to. And, and it's difficult because you and I in particular, Andy, are very social, right? I mean, we've got this big friend group we got to check out, and I want to please. And so finally, now that I'm 58, I'm like, I don't have to please you. I don't have to do that anymore.
Can I get to that earlier? Okay.
Please do. But that, I think that is fantastic advice, because it's just like Krista and I would do it. We'd bring in the kids somewhere, and we've gone, we're going to pay for this because we know we're going. It's later than all of our bedtimes. We're making this conscious choice. Let's plan out what tomorrow could look like. But we're already complaining. We haven't even gotten to this place. And we always have a great time. But the next day can be, just like that was just rough. And the kids don't sleep the same or respond the same to some of the care. So, unapologetic. I think that's great.
Unapologetic, and then all the social energy that you used to expend to just friend group and hospitality. A lot of that goes obviously towards the being a dad, towards the kid. And unapologetic too. I'd go visit my mom, who was really wanting a lot of my attention and undivided attention, and she didn't get any undivided attention. The kids were nipping at me, running around always, and I kind of was I realized you got to do what you got to do, and I think kind of talk about becoming a dad, navigating the early days. It's almost unavoidable that you're going to come to the point where you're like, what about me, man? What about my needs? And your needs are all sort of feeling like back burner every day. And it, as a mission, becoming a dad is like, all right. And, it's something bigger than myself. It's outside of yourself. And it increases your capacity. I think just having had twins and then stopped, I look at, families that have 4-6 kids. I mean, my dad thought he was going to have 2 max, and then my brother came along 3, and then I was the youngest, the 4th, and my dad, no fucking way.
That's enough.
Stop.
One to my dad, and part of it is you realize that there's something about the process that increases your capacity, but it also stretches you to and figuring out, the whole thing about cultivating dad community and making sure that you got other folks to both compare notes, commiserate. And you kind of need a little bit of that. Otherwise you're going to be lonely.
Agreed.
I was thinking recently, and some conversations we've been having with dads about, and I wonder if you could speak to this, either one of you guys, about how I guess as a person, I'm also a pleaser. Like, I want to just not complain. My dad grew up in an era where he was like, I was just always taught not to complain about stuff. But being able to have those conversations and connect with other dads about like the tough times, because it's not all like laughter and joy.
Right.
There are the times where, you don't have enough sleep, or you run up into something where you do feel helpless and you don't have the answers and you're frustrated, and maybe you respond in a way that maybe isn't your best self. And to be able to have those conversations with other dads and have a space where you can land where they're not like, oh, well, you're just a dick, where they can just be like, yeah, man, sometimes it's tough. You got to make sure you eat. You got to make sure you drink plenty of water. You get sleep, all these things. So, what have you, and you guys, as your kids are now grown, maybe some wisdom that you can shed, obviously some of it's just like, just show up and just keep doing your best every single day and keep learning and keep improving and all that stuff. But maybe to some of the younger dads out there, like myself and other guys that are about to have kids, what are some habits or some things that might be helpful in that, even if it's like journaling or therapy or just communicating with your wife or anything?
Well, we'll go ahead and answer that when you're done.
Sorry, I have a lot to say.
You have a lot, and you're a pleaser, and you're good at sharing all this. But yeah, we it's not like we have a massively limited amount of time on this cast, but
short, the question is so well understood, right?
Yeah,
as far as
totally.
what do you do to kind of,
Yeah.
what do you think? What was your take on how to navigate that?
You know, I do think what was interesting is Kristen was involved. She was able to stay home quite a bit for the first couple of years, which was really helpful. But she established some friend groups. And so then I got to meet more dads out, here in Colorado. And so making connections with those dads, and within a year, you realize, okay, these dads I'm comfortable with sharing with, and these maybe not so much. And you do kind of create family, to me, connections of the folks that, all right, we're all connecting, we're sharing this similarly. And I thought that was helpful. But, because we were new out in Colorado, we had moved here in 99. And so then we had kids quickly after. So we didn't have a massive friend group, particularly a friend group with kids. So it was meeting new people, novel people, but being comfortable with that and allowing it, because like you've said, Andy, getting those dads to share, huge, because you can share it with your wife, but then I was just like, but you do this the whole day. I feel guilty that I'm complaining. But just to be able to have those ears to say, yeah, you know what, totally getting this. And yeah, I'm working all these hours. I changed my career because I was so worn out from giving to both. And I was just like, no, I need to go just back into education rather than being a director of education. But I'd love to hear your take, Andy, on that, the connections you made, because we do have tight friend groups that we've known since kindergarten. We all stayed in the same area. And a lot of our friends, like you said, didn't have kids. So yeah, you're now getting into, I think, a similar experience like I did. How did you form those groups and maintain them?
I think it's maybe the deepest question, right? As far as how do you create some semblance of sanity, balance, this whole thing. And Lucas, I mean, that's totally spot on, and you're right in the thick of it. And frankly, as much as I empathize, I'm also envious, man, because I look back, it's like Dickens. Those were the best of times, those were the worst of times, those were the best of times. Like the thing I would say as far as structuring, being able to function, I did a major bizarre career change right around the boys when they were born. I dropped out of corporate. I decided to become a business broker. And I had this lifestyle that I was just doing what I needed to do to try to close a deal and sell a business, but spending tons of time with the family. So that's the structural part about just having the ability to focus, which felt like a blessing, even though it became super stressful later when the economy tanked and I was worried about how the hell I'm going to actually pay my mortgage. So that was a different story. But there's always trade-offs. In terms of your specific question, I think the answer to that is interesting, because as much as it applies to kids, it maybe applies to everything. It was like really knowing deep inside that, like, aside from just doing all the things you got to do to be a responsible dad, a good dad, all the things that that the world and your wife and everybody expects you to do. Aside from that, you need to have this deep acceptance and unconditional, sort of validation that what you're going through and how you're feeling, that you're okay. Like you need to have, need to work that voice inside that gives you what you call radical self-acceptance, because what you're actually going through is intense. And the way you get that, is partially, connecting with other dads. They're all tired. Their social energy is limited. Like when you really start wandering into the dad territory, you're going to get a certain amount. All right, man, well, we're all kind of going through similar shit, but everyone's a little bit fatigued. Everyone's going through similar stuff. And the level, it's good. I think that's a very necessary component. Connect with other dads who are going through similar stuff, and that they'll share the good, bad, and the ugly. Not just look at me, look what a great dad I am. Everybody. There's sort of like the pressure to talk about how great you are. What are you doing? Because you're sort of trying to align your vision with your wife and expectations. Like, but as a dad, like I made a point to connect with my dude friends, my guy friends, in a forum that preceded kids, and it continues to this day, which is from periodically we just get together for a fire circle. We have a fire, and we all sort of catch up for a bit, and then we all have a chance to kind of hold the talking stick and just kind of share what's going on. And I found that the ability to to really share what's going on deeply with a group of friends, who may or may not have kids,
Right.
and what their stories are and what's going on in their lives. I mean, this wasn't like just share the hard shit. It was just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's going on? People always go deep when you ask them, and you get the talking stick, right?
Yeah.
And I found that just being a parent, even, going through totally different and intense challenges than the rest of my buddies, it was really helpful to hear about what is going on in everyone's life,
Right.
even if they weren't parents.
Yeah.
Because it grounded me in realizing that everyone's experience is interesting and challenging, and also it had to do with bonding with my male friends.
Right.
I mean, it was a guy thing. Fire circle. So that was a thing that I did, that I still do. And whatever it is that got me, through the chaotic moments and grind of early, fatherhood, I think it applies, and it's ultimately, making sure that you're okay,
Right.
and you give yourself some props. You
Right.
kind of got to your own, but you get that feedback, that support, maybe from other dads, from buddies. I mean, you can. Let me ask you this, Lucas: are
Sure.
most of your buddies dads also, or do you have plenty of buddies that aren't dads?
I mean, I think it's a good mix, but a lot of my buddies, especially around here, I wasn't somebody who had a ton of friends growing up, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten a little bit better at connecting with people. I was pretty insecure when I was younger and in my teens and 20s and 30s and stuff like that. And then I became more outgoing and decided to try to be a better friend. And that helped me,
Right.
Lauren's got a ton of friends like you guys from middle school and elementary school and stuff like that. And I still, I would love that, but we moved a bunch and for whatever reason, but yeah, there's a lot of dads that are now that have kids either the same age as Stella and honestly through this podcast has helped me create a community of dads as well. Like just reaching out to people. It's made me, Eric is great about just seeing a dad pushing a stroller and being like, hey, we have a podcast. You're a dad. Let's get to, and it's given me the ability to be a little bit more outgoing. I mean, not that I'm not outgoing,
Right.
but to create and expand that community. So, it's growing. We're getting there, but yeah, I mean, I have a couple of friends that don't have kids, but a lot of them do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're touching on these sort of common threads: the community, the
Right.
connection, the support. Yeah, there were times that I was going nuts. There were times that I was doubting what I'm doing in my career. Am I going to make it? Yeah, there was some therapy in there, sprinkled in, that was usually not, super noteworthy. Now that I look back, it was like I just needed it.
Yeah.
There were, but I think one really interesting point about my creating a space and navigating the whole thing was to make sure that I had my own channel carved out with the boys that I could play. I did these things early days where I would dance with them to this song called Kamini every morning. It was like my thing, and I turned them on to tons of music early on and started making up stories even before they could understand what the hell I'm telling them about what the music means. I would play them a lot of trippy shit like No Quarter by Led Zeppelin. Whatever. I turned them on to a ton of music, but I had all this, and obviously speaking Russian to them, we had a lot of rituals at night. I would sing songs to them. And that was really cool. So having the playtime, having the fun time that was designed and owned by me. Of course, Eva had we had a bunch of together rituals, but I also had stuff that I kind of carved out that was happy time, That was cool too. It wasn't grind time. It was happy time.
So going a little bit different subject, the boys, you've got twins. What is their personalities? How similar? How different?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, were their sleep patterns exactly the same because they were in the same room, or were they? Is everything different about them, or what do you got? What's the experience? Because people have twins, and just like you have single kids, everybody's different, and so I'm just wondering what that's like with the twins.
Yeah, so the boys, they're fraternal. They're very similar in the sense that they, I think they're both very musical. They're actually both really into guitar right now. They're great critical thinkers. They're deep thinkers. I think that was if you kind of, what the heck was I trying to accomplish? There were a couple things. I wanted to really be authentic, to mentor them through sort of example and transparency, and then also wanted to help them become critical thinkers. So they're really known by their friend group, and they've got a really tight friend group that they've been with like kindergarten, and they're known to be almost as philosophical as me. I'm a kind of the endless philosopher guy.
I love that.
Their patterns, sleep patterns are very different. Man. I mean, there's a lot of, college years, lack of discipline. I mean, it's kind of a trip because like even thinking, man, it seems so abstract. And one thing about kids is the field of view. What seems relevant is always just a little bit in front. Like at 19 months, anyone even talking about kindergarten seemed like way off.
Forever away. It's so far away.
But I mean, like they're really good dudes. They've got really good friends.
Yeah.
I respect them a lot. They're different. As a matter of fact, Pavel, who's in Madison, he's the Air Force guy. He decided he needed to go to a different school than his brother in order to simply have an identity outside. He felt like being a twin. Sometimes you're seen as the same person, and it was knowingly almost like you're sharing half of an identity or something. And so his decision to go to Madison was part of that. Mick, such different lifestyles. Mick lives in a fraternity. Yeah, he's the treasurer. He spends half his time traveling in nature. He does snow camping by himself, and he comes back to the fraternity parties. Right. And so it's hyper social combined with intense outdoorsman. Right. And if Pavel's doing the fucking nose to the grindstone Air Force program, getting up at 4 a.m, and he's hoping to be a pilot. But the fact that they went to different schools, I think, is cool. Yeah. But they're really, really close, and they're very different. And as far as all the sleep training they gave him, that shit went out the window, man.
Right. Totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah. The boys come home for a visit and it's like, it's 1 p.m. What the heck? We all went to bed at 10. This is unbelievable.
The kids could sleep. I remember. Not anymore. Oh my gosh.
But to that point, let me just make the idea that when they're young and you're trying to model and mentor and instill these good values. Yeah. The part that occurred to me from my own upbringing. So my dad was, World War II survivor, traumatized guy from a refugee camp, and he comes in and he marries this local girl who's the daughter of a general from the Marine Corps. So trippy mix, right?
No doubt.
But he had a lot of this. He was an amazing dad. There's no perfection in this whole thing, right? He also had this thing where it's sort of like he felt like he could impart moral lessons to me just by saying them. And one thing I learned very quickly was, dude, as a dad, your kids are going to know you. They're going to know your core. Right. Do not try to be anything other than who you are, and don't bullshit. Don't go and espouse moral virtues and stuff that you're not exemplifying. Just know that they have X-ray fucking vision.
Totally.
We don't have that with parents. Just know that you had it. Yeah. They'll have it. So for that reason, too, don't worry so much about the little mistakes and whatever you get. Yeah. Get mad, do something. Oh, there's not perfection. They know you.
Yeah.
So
that's a good point.
Like trying to instill. I look at friends who try to set examples, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to be this way around my kids. Like I model it." To an extent. Like, don't be a schmuck. Right. But they know who you are, man. Totally. And some of the guys who tried to model too hard, like also their modeling, their kids didn't kind of grow up exactly as the lessons they were imparting. They are who they are. They're going to be their own people. Yeah. So
the more honest you are, the more honest you are, they're going to go great. Like that's the one I trust. When you're doing these things, I don't know what you're doing right now. Are you trying to impress those people? Because you're not doing it to me, right? So,
Eric, what's your cause and effect correlation between the stuff you were modeling and the way your kids turned out? Like, what's your take now? I mean,
I think trying to model certain things. I think for me, wanting to always be the fun guy. That's just what I would fall into. But I was purposeful in making sure that I was coaching turning them on to music, and both the boys are extremely musical. And that, I think, is what I take most pride in, is just like, good, you listen to good music. But being in scouts, being their scout leader, doing those sorts of things, and going, look, I didn't feel like I always had the best modeling from my own father, other than he persevered. And so that was one of the things that I wasn't always great at. So trying to persevere and showing a little bit more of that, but always being committed with my own job. And both the boys, I mean, they're straight A's. They're hardworking. They're driven. They don't need motivation from me, which is so fantastic. And I think that independence is something that I think Kristen was better at modeling than I was, because I very, very much felt insecure about my skills. And I didn't give myself enough credit for actually knowing some things. But it wasn't until I did some more kind of therapeutic medication intervention before I go, oh, okay, so that's what it's like to feel normal. And that helped me. Granted, it didn't start until I was age 50, so a lot of self-doubt. But now I'm like, okay, I've got it. And I explained to the boys how I'm feeling. And we do have just a family history of depression and anxiety. And the boys are getting treated for that as well. And they're riding through, and they're seeing, okay, this is okay for us. This is kind of a normal. So for me to be able to model those things and actually get help, the boys have requested help. And that, knowing that as young men, that makes me proud. You know what I mean? And so seeing them know that they can take care of themselves and that it's okay to ask for help, that I think that part of the cause effect is what I think I take away from it.
That's huge.
That's beautiful. That's what you just said. Like modeling vulnerability,
Right.
Yeah.
is key, because I think that was, no matter what we do, we're to some extent responding, reacting, and then ultimately modeling a lot of the examples that were provided to us. And my dad had a tough time modeling vulnerability. It would be like sort of this tough exterior, and then it would melt down. And I tried to make a real point of staying a couple of key values, like, being real, modeling what's really going on. The question always coming up when it comes to connecting with the family and the kids is like, what's going on? Like what's and vulnerability is part of that. The other one is very high engagement, which my dad modeled, just definite engagement. Like we consider it almost like a sin if you're just not talking and not dealing. Like, and actually we weren't into the kids playing video games young. We knew that the longer we could keep them away from that stuff, the better. And they got their phones, whatever, early high school, but the video game stuff, even though I was a junkie, I don't know about you, Eric, I was at Space Invaders back in oh man.
I've still got the original Atari. I still have the original with the double turn on and off, and you get the extra ammo in Space Invaders.
That's incredible.
It's a good little cheat, folks. But, that's funny.
How does this all sound, Lucas? Because it's one thing that's weird about, like our kids are growing up.
Yeah.
The memories and the impressions of these early years are so vivid.
Yeah.
I actually expect to go through some version of it maybe when my kids have kids.
When you become a granddad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that it's probably, people say it's kind of fun because you're not super responsible. You can just enjoy it. But for you, thinking about this whole kind of carving out your space, play, modeling, community, whether it's therapy, I mean, what's your current state? Because I'm curious. 19 months, man, interesting time.
Yeah. It's interesting. I'm learning more and more how it's a big gray area. Honestly, it is at the same time it is having that unrelentless self-confidence constantly, trusting yourself, and at the exact same time knowing that I could be wrong about any of this stuff. Knowing that I have a lot to give and a lot to teach this kid. And at the exact same time, knowing that at any moment she could teach me something brand new, even though she's 19 months. Yeah. So I've done a lot of work through therapy and self-reflection. And, my family is, very close. We all love each other very much. And my dad and my mom did a great job, did the best they could do with what they had, all that stuff that we say. But there was a lot of contention, a lot of like lack of self-awareness, just like survival mode kind of stuff growing up. And so that pushed me more towards like, I've always been very curious about how people work and why they work, and want very much to have the benefit of the doubt and curiosity for myself. So I try to give that as much as possible. And then also know that I'm going to fuck it up some days. Some days I'm not going to have enough sleep. And so it's just a lot of, my wife and I talk all the time, like our kind of our thing that we need more than anything is grace and a chill vibe.
Right. Totally.
If you can give me grace and a chill vibe, we can get along for the rest of our lives. Right. And that's what I try to give my daughter too. So,
yeah. Well, and I think one of the other things too that is what you're going through is, while you're seeing, and Andy, you talked about it with the boys, those milestones. I mean, every month there's a new milestone.
Yeah.
I think it's the same as a parent. Hey, I just got through that too. You know what I mean? I mean, you really do. So accepting and going, okay, whether I did it right or wrong is not the issue. It's, we did do it. We got through it. Here's how I might do it differently if I have another kid, or when this happens, I might go, okay, she needs the grace, I need the grace, so let's both work on that at this moment, or just offer it. So it just, it's ever changing. I mean,
Constantly.
it's just ever changing for you,
Constantly.
So
And philosophically, the big picture is that you gotta be present. The kids gotta stay healthy and alive. You can't be dropping them. You can't be forgetting. I mean, there's the mega macro shit. You can't screw up.
Right.
Yeah.
On the micro, you're so consumed with the micro day-to-day, moment to moment. You're gonna likely be, it's hit and miss on some of that. But you're also, you don't have a lot of experience to draw on, so you got to kind of give yourself a lot of slack that you're learning as you go.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Even having a little bit of overconfidence in the fact that whatever you're doing is good because it's you. Look, one of the biggest things about being a dad is that you're gifting your spirit, your soul, like to this person in being, present, vulnerable, transparent, playful. All that stuff is as good as it gets. They got to stay alive.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like big picture, small picture, and making a lot of little mistakes is forgivable.
Yeah, right.
Your point about grace and chill vibe. Chill vibe's key, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's on the, just between the navigating the moment to moment stressors. I think it's a good thing to just have that embedded in both minds. When in doubt, be chill.
I like that. When in doubt, be chill. Andy, dude, this has been great. We have covered a lot of phenomenal topics. I'm hoping you're going to be able to grace us with a dad joke.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
He's coming back. Lost your network connection.
Trying to reconnect. You're lost your... No! Try to reconnect. Anything we can do?
I think just
be patient. Chill
vibe.
Yeah.
I think hopefully it'll come back in just a minute. He was really on it too.
Oh,
wait,
man.
Is this coming back?
Baby. Oh, we got you. We got you. We got you. Pictures up. Oh, come on. Oh, Andy, if you can hear us, just want to say thank you.
This is part of it.
Oh my gosh, this is life. This is dadhood. This is pappy time.
Wait,
hey, no one else.
No one else. Okay.
All right. Thanks for listening, and
we'll get
that dad joke and share it with you. Hey,
wait,
here
he is. He's back.
All right.
I'm sorry about that.
Oh no,
you're good.
Hey, that's what? This is what we experience in parenthood.
We have all the grace, all the chill vibes for you. This is totally fine.
So now give it.
Chill vibes. Exactly. You got to roll with it.
Yeah.
Well, were you talking about the dad joke?
Yeah, we were trying to
man.
get that dad joke.
The dad joke. Yeah. Okay. You guys ready?
You're man.
So in the spirit of being raised Russian and having a little bit of a Russian dark humor, let's just say that Russian dad jokes aren't quite as cheery and corny as
I can't wait for this.
Excellent.
the Russian dad joke is that you got this Russian peasant boy has just got done working the fields. And he's coming back home to his village. And he runs into his dad, who's looking pretty grim. And his dad says, "Vanya, I got some bad news. They raised the price on vodka again." And Vanya says, "Dad, I'm really sorry to hear that. That must mean that you're not going to be drinking as much." And the dad looks at him and he shakes his head. He says, "No, Vanya, it means that you're not going to be eating as much." And that's in the spirit of Russian humor.
I don't know what you're talking about, son. That just means that you're going to have to slim down a little bit.
Work harder, kid. Jeez.
Andy, this has been
Too fun.
fantastic. It's so great meeting you. I hope we get to meet in person someday.
Yeah.
And cheers, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.
Gentlemen, love you guys.
Yeah. Cheers. Appreciate you. Take care, Andy.
You only get one spin around this rock. You only have so many days until it stops. And how you show up for your kids, well, that's your superpower. You might not know it now, but this is your happy hour. Happy hour, let's talk it out. Talk it out. What's it like? What's life all about? Well, happy hour, say your piece. Laugh at yourself, slap your knee. Pull up a chair, it's time for